Hey everybody, it's Tiny Flame Rob here. I'm with another quick tutorial video. I've been building out this level called Metalworks for my video game project, and I discovered a very strange and peculiar bug that I was trying to figure out. So if I click play, I can show you what it is and also how I managed to just figure out how to solve it. We have this metal grated floor here, and underneath this floor I'm going for like a Fanlax effect or parallax effect. Where there's some depth underneath it. You can see there's these metal rebars and there's some pipes and then there's a metal floor. So there's multiple layers to our flooring system here. But if I walk up to this wall, for example, you can see some of the floor disappears or isn't rendered correctly. And it happens wherever I touch the wall. You can see it here as well. You can kind of see it flicker there for a second. See there? So it's pretty annoying, and that's not what we want. So at first I thought this was something to do with depth of field, or like some type of post-processing effect, or maybe some type of pop-in effect that was happening because of draw distance. But if we look at the floor, we can see it's one single plane, and it's just a texture tiled over one plane. So if it was pop-in for depth of, for draw distance, I would expect the whole floor to disappear, not just like little bits of them. So I thought maybe it's a post-processing effect. But once I added these rebars, let me just compile again real quick. Once I added these rebars here, I noticed that the floor is still rendering on these rebars, just not on the other textures. And I thought that was strange, so I compared to see what was different between the rebars and the other elements. And all the other elements use the same shader. The rebars use a different shader. So I said, aha, so this is something tied to the shaders. And so, as like one additional quick example, we can see this here. We've got these little dancing NPCs. The floor has got a hole in it here. And if we run down here, we can see that they fall through the floor, which isn't very good, right? We don't want that. We want them to be dancing on the floor. So, if we have a look at and investigate them a little bit, we can see that we've got the floor texture here, which is called Metalworks Grid Floor. So we'll click on the shader, and we'll see it's using the URP built-in shader, Universal Render Pipeline Lit, as a shader. Now if we check out the other shader that's problematic, the NPCs, just select them. Fortunately, all my NPCs who are currently dancing use the same shader, NPC Blue Dance Material, and then I render whatever I want on that shader through code. But if we select the shader, we can see also Universal Render Pipeline Lit. Right, so they're all using the same built-in shader, and so I thought to myself, well, it's probably the shader. So something's up with the shader. Is there anything that I can mess with, because I didn't write the shader? So is there like a setting I can tweak? And if we go down here to advanced options, we can see there's a sorting priority, and sure enough, if you click on all of these different elements that are being problematic, they all have the same sorting order. So if I click on this floor here, and I click on the shader for the material for the floor, and then I look at the shader for that floor material, we can see that it has a sorting priority of 0, which matches what the NPCs have as well. So we click on the material for the NPC, and then we look at the shader, and we see it's 0 as well. So the reason that they're all fighting each other is because they all have the same priority. So in theory, all we need to do is change the priority, and then that should fix the bug. So we can test this by clicking on the material, and we're going to change this just for testing to like -1. So we're setting this to be less important than any of the other materials that should be rendered, right? We're saying this should be rendered after everything else. So if we do that, we can see the whole floor except for our custom shader, ignore that one, or custom material I should say, that has our custom shader on it, is the only one that renders the floor. But everything else renders first. You can see the NPCs are now flying in the air because the floor doesn't matter anymore. So in theory, we want this to be more important than the underlying pipes, right? Because so basically the way we want to draw things in terms of priority, our NPCs are the most important. After that, the floor texture is the most important, and after that, these pipes underneath are the most important thing, right? So the floor we'll set to 1, and we will leave the pipes to be 0, and then we'll change these NPC. Oh my goodness, can I select one? Yeah, I can. We'll select the NPC material shader, or the material. Is it? I suppose it's a material option, not a shader option. Pardon me for calling it a shader option. It's a material option, but it's the materials rendering priority, auto sorting priority. We'll change this to 2, and you can see here they all popped up, so they seem to be pretty happy. So now, if we click play, we should be able to gallivant around our little club, nightclub, without any floors disappearing on us. So we're going to touch the wall, no problems there. Going to just skid along the wall, just like I do in real life when I go to parties. And yeah, nothing's popping in and nothing's being strange. It's all rendering as we want it to render. So go past this gentleman. So if we go down here, we can see our little NPCs are dancing and having the time of their lives, and they're not falling through the floor, which is awesome. So yeah, that's just I thought I'd make a little video. So if you have a lot of different, for me it's quads, but if you have a lot of different like game objects using the same shader, and you see some strange behavior with them conflicting, it's probably you might want to check out the sorting priority of your material that uses the shader, or of your different materials that use the same shader. But yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to show you guys. So I'll talk to you next time. See ya.